Just takes a little second here for it to switch over. Don't worry, Louise, I'll give you the cue on it.
Yeah, don't bother.
Okay, and we're live there now. Okay, thanks, Louise. It takes a little second here for it to switch over. Don't worry, Louise, I'll give you the key on it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's tutorial. I'm Louise. I'm the founder of Clayotic. So Clayotic is the first Irish brand of modelling clay. It doesn't stick to clothes, carpet or hair. So whatever you make, you get to keep, provided you're happy with it. So it's an air dry and clean clay. I'm based here in Dundalk. You're all very welcome. So just to show you a few of the little past creations I've made. So basically with Clayotic, you can upcycle your empty plastic. So for recycling, upcycling is a really good product. Okay, that's one little example. So then it's also great for making your own jewelry for any men or women out there that are into jewelry making, because it's so light and it's great for that. So look at the rings, and there's a little ring I made as well. So literally you can make everything and anything from Clayotic. And then this is a little kids character I made a few months ago. Obviously it's a little cow, but I've put it on a skewer so it rotates. So it just gives it a little bit more of an animation. So just to recap, it's a clean, non-messy, air dry modelling clay. So the recreation you make today, it'll air dry after a day or so. So just to illustrate here, this is an example of what we're going to make today. So it's a little 3D floral picture. So it's actually, there's a lot of detail in it, but it's quite simple when you break down all the shapes, okay? Now, so we're going to start officially making now. So all you have to really be concerned about seeing are my hands. I'm going to bring down my computer here, and then you're going to see my hands, okay? Now, in the little pack that we sent you, you would have got green, you would have got red, you would have got yellow, and then a darker tone of green, and then this little skewer. So these are all the things we need to know to make this character here, okay? So I'm just going to ask everybody to get their green out. Now, if the green, we'll say, and the yellow stuck together, because mine actually did in the pack, you just pull it apart. And if there's a bit of yellow, a bit of green, it's not the end of the world. So please don't panic, okay? So we're going to start going using the green, and we're going to stretch it and fold it. So everybody just take it out and relax and stretch and fold. It's just a way of making the clay more pliable. It's a little bit hard there, I'm sure, but you're just going to stretch it and fold it to make it more softer. So you can see it, and it's lovely and therapeutic. You see the way it breaks, but you can just put it back together. So it's just blending and folding, okay? So when you are happy with that, with the consistency, we're going to start with making 3 shapes. So this isn't the tutorial, it's just a little, this is the practice run, okay? So we're going to the first shape, it's the most simplest shape, it's a ball. So I make the ball by rolling the clay in the palm of my hand. So we're still using the green, and we're still just, this is just practicing, okay? So this is the first shape, a ball. It's very simple, something like that. Okay, so you want it as wrinkle free as you can get it. It's just you want to go with something that's quite professional. So something like that. So as I said, I do it in the palm of my hands, but you can also do it on the table. So that's the ball. So the second shape, it's actually called a droplet. It looks like a teardrop or a raindrop. That's what we call a droplet. So in order to achieve this shape, you have to have the ball, which you've done. And we're going to use this part of our hand, so the palm of our hands, and we're going to put a little bit of pressure and go over and back. So just pressure on one side, so you have a fat bottom and a skinnier top. So that's the aim, fat bottom, skinnier top. It's one of the most important shapes when you're model making. So over and back like this. Okay, so I'm just going to hold it up to you there so you can see it. So you can have a little practice there. So that's the droplet, because it looks like a little raindrop or a teardrop. It's very important, as I said, to know how to do that shape. So that's the second shape. And then the third shape we need to know is the most simplest of shapes. It's a little sausage. That's really easy, just a simple sausage, okay? So that's the 3 shapes we need to know to make anything from Clayotic: a ball, a droplet, and a sausage, okay? So I'm going to now just hold this up and just talk you through what's the first stage. So basically, this is a little ball and we flatten it. So that's the first shape we're going to make with our Clayotic here. And we're going to use this green. So it's this green here, the larger amount of green. So again, you roll it into a ball and you flatten it. I actually might just do mine. So I'm doing the ball there as you did before, but I'm going to just make it a little bit oval. So to do that, I'm just going to hold up my ball to you there. I'm just going to roll a little bit of pressure just so it's like that. I'm just going to go with that shape. Look, you can stick with the circle if you want. Now, when you're happy with the ball or the oval, you get the palm of your hand and you flatten it here. So flatten, 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 okay? And there's quite a lot that's going to go on to this green, so just be mindful of that. You don't want it too huge or anything, but just put a little bit of pressure. So I'm using this palm of my hand here, well, this section of my hand, because there's no wrinkles in this, and you put pressure on it like that. Okay, so I'm happy enough with that size. I'm going to hold it up to the camera now just so you see. So something like look at the palm of my hand and the relation of that. So it's kind of the size, a little bit smaller than the actual palm of my hands. Okay, so that's just going to be the background of our mini floral picture. Okay, so I'm just going to set that aside so you can look at that. Now, the next thing we're going to do, I'm actually going to do a frame like this. It combines the red and the yellow, okay? So in order to do that, we're going to get our yellow that we have in our kit. Please just try and listen up to the proportions because it's very important. So I'm going to ask you to half, maybe a little bit less. So in order to make half, we're going to roll into a ball, okay? So yeah, that's all our yellow. It's just into a ball. And then we're going to use our little skewer and go a little bit less than half because this is going to be for the yellow part of our frame. So it's this part here, okay? So I'm going to, okay? So I've taken that, that's the half, and that's this is less than the half. This is for the frame. So keep that aside. And you're going to roll it into a sausage. So over and back into a long, long sausage, because the aim of the game is you're going to cover this here, this whole, the circumference. Sorry, I think someone muted me there. So just to recap, we're rolling the yellow into a long sausage that'll cover the outside of the picture frame, of the picture. So it's this here. So look at me. I'm rolling, I'm rolling, I'm rolling. Okay. So all over, and I'm just going to judge. So you can do that as well. You can judge. So we need to go a little bit more. Keep going. So the aim is to get it for the outside. Okay. Like this. So with Clayotic as well, there's a slight stretch. So if you find it's too short, you can just stretch it a little bit. Let's go again. Stretch it again. So mine's looking quite good. I can just stretch it a little bit more so it'll go around the full amount, okay? Now, the next thing, because we're going to add the red, so it's the red and yellow, it's just to give it a little bit more of a design edge. We're going to get the red now. So with the red that I've given you, again, roll into a ball. I'm just showing you, I've put it on the table and I'm taking slightly less than half away, and that'll do the other frame, the other color, the red of the frame there, okay? So I've taken slightly less than half. So we have a larger red and a smaller red. The smaller red is for the frame. So I'm going to just take that away and we're going to do the same again and try and get it the same length as the yellow. Try and get it the same length as the yellow. So sausage, roll it out, and try and keep it kind of similar in thickness as well. Like this, like this. So again, just to show you out there, ladies and gentlemen, you can pull it as well. There's a slight stretch with Clayotic, so you're able to kind of pull it out. So don't worry if it's not exactly the same size as the yellow, you can just pull it out. Okay. Now, so I've got mine similar enough. See there, the red and the yellow. So similar enough. And I'm going to stick them together. So you put a little bit of pressure using these little pincers here. Press, 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 just so that they're joined, okay? Now, and then, so with these fingers again, you're going to twist. So twist, twist, twist. You want to just be able to twist it. It's like a little kind of candy cane combination, isn't it? You're twisting, you're twisting. See the way I'm going like this? I'm twisting, I'm twisting, I'm twisting, okay? So try your best to get that done. Twist, twist, twist. It's kind of like a little plait almost there, isn't it? See, look at it. Okay, so we're going to twist, twist, and twist, and twist like that. Okay, so I'm happy enough with that. So it may take you a few little more minutes. So I'm just going to leave it there for now. I'm just going to see, is there any comment? No, that's grand. I hope you're getting on okay. So that's it there. Basically, we've done the green, we've done the red and the yellow, okay? But this isn't finished yet because we want to combine it more. So in order to do that, we roll it out with the palm of our hands just to combine the two colors. So it's more integrated, like this, and like this. If you're happy keeping it kind of the way it was, please leave it. I just want to integrate it more, okay? So that they're more bound together. So something like that, like that. Now, when you've got your green and you're happy with your frame, so you can just wrap it around like this, so up and then like that. And see the way mine's actually bigger, that's just because I rolled it out more. So you want that, and you can cut that away. We might utilize that color later on. We could maybe do a little bow or something like that. So we'll keep that. Hello. Yeah, we'll keep that like that. Okay. So that's kind of where you should be at now. So it's a little frame for our picture. Now I'm going to just show you close up here. So the first little thing we're going to start, the first little flower we're going to do is this one here. So you can see it's just a combination of yellow little balls flattened, and then that's a little rolled up sausage. So I'm going to ask you to go back to the yellow, obviously that was supplied. And we've 1, 2, 3, 4. We'd like to do 4 flowers. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So can you all divide this into 4? So I'm going to show you how to do that again. We want them equal amounts. So into a ball, and then a sausage, okay? And then you're going to divide this yellow into 4, okay? So 4 flowers, four sections of yellow. So there's 2. So half will give you 2, won't it? And then half that again. And look, it doesn't matter if they're not exact, but just to get 4 equal enough sections for our 4 flowers. Okay, so we'll start off with an easier little flower here, which is a simple little one that's flattened balls, okay? So we just need, so if you can see here that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So can you, from one of those bits of yellow, just keep the 3 other away, not to get confusing. We're going to divide this into 6, okay? So there's the yellow, and you're going to divide it into 6. So there's the 2, divide into 2, and then each one of them will be 3. 1, 2, 3. Again, it doesn't have to be an exact science, but you just need 6 amounts of yellow. Okay? So again, they mightn't just be exact, but they're okay. We'll work with it, okay? So getting you out of the way and just concentrating here. So roll these into a ball. Roll 5 of them. That's 1, 2, into 5 little balls, and keep one of the yellows aside. So five yellow balls is what we're after, okay? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So try and get them as equal as you can and as wrinkle free. Now some of mine are a little bit wrinkly, so I'm just going to go back at them. So these are the petals. I'm just going to show you again. These are the little petals for this simple flower here. Okay, it's a very simple one, but we want to start off easier and then we'll work our way into a harder little flower at the end. So that's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's my 5 basically petals done. And we have a 6th yellow one, but I'm going to ask just to nip a little bit of red away like that. Okay, so nip the red away a tiny little bit. Can you see? And I'm going to ask you to mix the colors. That's a beautiful thing about Clayotic. You can actually mix your colors. So you're going to stretch and you're going to fold. You're going to stretch and fold. It's just to give it an orange center. So red and obviously yellow will make orange. And you're going to mix them there. Okay, so stretch and fold that. That just takes a little minute just to make sure that it becomes a lovely orange color. There's my orange color there. I just want to see something here. Yeah, perfect. So into a little orange ball for the center of the flower, okay? So I'm going to just flatten that there. So there's my orange, and then we're going to get, that's going to be the center. And then just for it to be more realistic, you're going to add, just going to get the little skewer, and you're going to add a few little holes just to give it a little bit of a realistic look of a flower, okay? You can do as many or as little as you want. It's up to you. So like that, okay? And then we're going to build our little flower petals around it. So there's 1. We want to flatten it ever so slightly before we attach. So look at, I'm flattening it there with my 2 fingers and attach it on. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, whoops, and then 5. So look at mine. Mine have gaps. You know what you can do? You can just squeeze them all together just to bring it a little bit more closer together like that. Okay? Just going to see how that looks. Yeah, that looks very good. Now, so that's the first little simple flower. So it's very easy when you get going, and that's the most simplest of one, as I said. So that's really that's a really little easy one there. Now, the next one we're going to do, it's for the center of our little kind of a bouquet. It's, if you can see there, it's orange and it's a droplet. So you're going to get, look at, so this is our second amount of yellow that we've set aside. We're going to take this amount here. So look at the yellow. So there's my main yellow. This is going to be the little trumpety part. It's kind of like a daffodil. So we're going to use this and we're going to mix it with red. And you're going to blend and fold to give it a little orange center again. So over and back, over and back. It's nice and therapeutic to be able to mix your colors and see the colors forming. Over and back like that. Stretch and fold. I see that my mind's becoming orange now. Over and back, over and back. Okay. So as I said, it's a droplet. So look, it's very, very small. So you're going to just, sorry, there's something there. So we're just going to roll it into onto the table into a ball. And I use this little finger here. So the finger closest to your thumb. I'm going to just put pressure on one side. So that's like a little droplet, isn't it? It has the fat bottom and the skinnier top. So it's a droplet we're doing. And we're going to just flatten the top of it, just to give it, again, a little bit more realistic, just flattened like that. Okay. So that's going to be the center part of our flower. Okay. And again, we're going to do 5 little petals all around. So I'm going to do my 5 petals as droplets. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you see that there? That's the center, and then these are the surrounding petals. Now, so I'm using this bit here again, and I'm going to divide it into 5, and we do that by rolling it into a ball, into a sausage, and slice it into 5 times. 1, 2, 3, oops. 3, 4, 5. Again, it's not an exact science, but you want them as equal as you can get. Okay, so then first into balls, then into droplets. So it's 5 droplets that are going to surround the center of this wee guy here. Okay, so into a ball, into a droplet, that's 1. Into a ball, into a droplet, that's 2. Into a ball, into a droplet, that's 3. Into a ball, into a droplet, that's 4. And then finally 5. So some of mine are bigger than the others, but look, we won't worry too much about it, okay? I'm sure that might be similar with some of you out there as well. So then we're going to flatten our droplets slightly. So look at flattened. Flattened droplet, 2, 3, 4, and 5, okay? So the way I'm going to build mine up, so that's going to be the center, as we said, and we're going to build these little guys all around. So I might build them first. So 1, 2, 3, can you see that there? 4, and then 5. Okay, so there's like that. You're building them up so that the center, all the pointy bits are aiming to the center, okay? And then you're going to position this wee guy here, the pointy bit to the middle, and the little fatter part of the droplet goes to the outside like that, okay? Now, just for you that are out there, you can just make it a little more authentic of a flower or of a leaf by just adding a slice if you want. If you don't have to, if you don't want it, but just to give it a little bit more of authenticity, slice it, and then slice it like that. You should have something like that. I'm just going to hold that up to you. So you see how simple it is. There's a lot of detail in this tutorial, so I'm sure you'll be able to keep up, no bother. There's my second one. So I'm not positioning them all just yet, but I'm just roughly doing it. Yeah, 1, 2. So you want them to be not too big because they're going into a little pot as well. So that's our second one done there. Now the next one we're going to do, this is quite simple as well. So this is the center is just a flattened sausage and you roll it, okay? So that's the center, and then the 1, 2, 3, 4 little leaves on the outside as well. So, okay, we're going back to remember the yellow we set aside? So we're going to divide it into 5 again. It's the same process for all of them, but the finished design is slightly different. It starts the same. So into a ball and then a sausage, okay? And then you're going to cut it into 5. So again, it doesn't have to be exact. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's the amount I'm using to do this little flower here, okay? So the center of the flower, as I said, I'm going to use the biggest part if I have, if they're, yeah, they're all much of a muchness of me. So into a ball, into a sausage. So this is the center of this flower we're doing, into a ball, into a sausage, and then flatten it. So everybody look at, okay, like that. You should have a bit like that, and you can stretch, you remember there, just to give it a little bit more room for rolling. So you have that, and you're going to just wrap it around like this. So look what I'm doing. Wrap it, wrap it, wrap it, wrap it like that. So that might be a little bit challenging, but you should be able to do it. It's just a sausage, and then you roll it, roll it, roll it like that. Okay? Now, then we're going to do our petals. So we're going to roll them into 4 little balls and then flatten it. 1, 2, 3, and 4. You see, everything looks, you know, quite, what's the word, a little bit difficult or challenging initially with the designs, but then you break them down and it's quite easy, isn't it? And once you know the basics, you can make anything. So then when we have kind of our petals done like that, we're going to just use our skewer and we're just going to indent ever so slightly. See what I'm doing? I'm indenting in. I'm going to hold up to the camera now. So I just sliced it down like that, ever so slightly. It's just to give you a little bit more of an impression of a flower leaf, okay, or of petal. Now that. So again, I'm going to build these up. So 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Might have been looked better if I had 5, but anyway, that's okay. And then we put the center in like that. So you have the center rolled up and 4 little flattened balls for the petals, okay? There's our third little flower. Okay. Now, the next one is this one here. So again, shape is just a flattened, sharpened droplet. And then we added a different color. So it's orange is the predominant color here. So we're going to just get more orange here. So take a little bit away for the center. Look at, tiny little bit away for the center of this flower. You want to keep that amount like that, okay? That's going to be for the majority of the flower. And we're going to get a red, remember a red, and we're going to just stretch and fold again. So again, enjoy the process. This is nice, it goes marbly. And if you want, if some of you are very creative out there, you could just keep it marbly if you wanted and use your color, or you make a flower that's quite marbly. But I'm just going to mix it fully. So I'm going to stretch, I'm going to fold, I'm going to stretch, and I'm going to fold. Over and back, over and back like this. So it should gradually obviously become a nice orangey color. So that's my orange. I'm sure yours might be something similar to that. Okay, so then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to go 5 again. So divide this orange into 5. So I'm going to roll into the ball, roll into the sausage, and then divide it into 5 equal amounts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? If you think yours is too big, you can go smaller. Mine, I'm going to have my bouquet quite bunched up, but you are the designer, so you can decide. But for now, we're going to go a ball, a droplet. So ball and a droplet. So 1, 2, 5 little droplets is what we're looking for this flower. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now some of mine, again, look at that was bold. That one's too big, but look at, we'll not worry, I'll hide it. 3, 4, and 5. So like that, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Whoops. So, and then I'm going to flatten each one of these little droplets. 1, just by this, remember this here? Put pressure on 1 of the little droplets at a time, like over and back like that, and over and back like that. That one is too big, but anyway, look at, not worry too much. So that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to get our yellow, and we're just going to position that in the center there. So something like that we should have. Push you up like that and like that. Okay. Now we're going to then get our skewer and indent again, like we did with the other one. We're just going to indent like that, indent, just to give it an impression of a vein, of a kind of of the leaf. So over the petal, sorry, with that, like that. No. And then I'm going to just give it a little bit of a 3D element by pushing it out. So you can see something like that. Okay. Now I'm quite happy with those flowers here. So I'm not going to stick anything on at the moment. Okay, so please don't. So because we're going to build up our floral display later. Okay, so all our little flowers are done. We're just keeping them aside for 1 minute. Now we're going to go and do this basket here. So I was trying to illustrate that this was kind of like a wickery basket. So with the red we are going to take half of the red that's left. So take half away. So I have around this amount. I'm sure you might have something similar. You might have something less, you might have a little bit more, but around half, okay? Let me see, around that amount. Okay, so I've divided into 2 there approximately, okay? Now, so the basket is basically a ball. So everybody's going to roll this into a ball. And again, you're going to flatten it by using this part, sorry, of your palm here. Just flatten it nicely because you want it, you want it to be flat enough, so like this. Okay. Now, so it's a ball flattened. So that's part of the basket there. Something like that everybody should have, something along those lines. So nothing too big, nothing too little. And see the way I have the lines there. So I want you to do little lines all across. So look at, I'm using the skewer and I'm just going, putting a little bit of pressure. You have to actually put substantial pressure because with Clayotic there's a bounce in it, so it almost bounces back. So go like that and like that, okay? Now I'm going to judge just where I want mine here. So I'm going to just leave that amount. So I'm just going to, because we're going to nip off the top bit, okay? We're going to nip off so it's a line sliced across the top of the basket. So I'm going to do that there. I'm using my skewer. You might have to put a little bit of pressure. you want to have something like that with the top cut off. Okay, so you have your lines done with your little skewers, all lines across, but then I'm going to ask you to get your tool again with the skewer and going to indent down. So it's like kind of brickwork, isn't it? Something like that, just again to give it a little bit more life and a more of a little design like that. So I've done my little kind of brickwork like that. Okay, and then just to give it a little bit of a finish, I'm going to take, so this is what I took away from the basket, that red there. So I'm going to just roll a small little ball around that amount, okay, into a sausage so that the top is more finished. You want to go away with a product that's quite professional and quite finished. That's why I'm here to give you a few little tips and tricks. So you're going to roll that into a sausage like that, okay, and you're going to put it from one side of our basket to another. So like that, so something like that. Okay, something in around that size, or not size, but like that. So it's from one side to the other of a little sausage. Okay, now I'm going to position mine carefully on my, so everybody can get their the green background, and we're going to position. I want to go quite low because I know I've got my flowers are quite big. So that's the little basket, and then just to put a little bit. So look at the edge of my basket. I'm just going to just nip it down a little bit. Nip it down a little bit, just so that it's bonded kind of to the background. And same for the other side. So nip it, drag and nip down, drag and nip down, drag and nip down, and like that. I'm going to just show you there. Okay. So it's just a way of securing it to the green background, just so that there's more of a bond to it. Now, so we're doing very well. We have our flowers, we have the background done, we have the frame done. So we're doing extremely well, I must say. So I hope everybody's keeping up there. Okay. So then in the little pack as well, you would have got a darker shade of green. So I want you just to, I'll show you here just before I go on. So it's just little leaves we're going to make here, just to give it a little bit more of a flower basket kind of look, just to have leaves coming out of it. So I'm going to just show you, I don't think we're going to need any more than that amount. So I'm going to take around that amount of green. It's 3 leaves we're going to make. And again, you can see from our little design, there are just 3 droplets flattened. So I'm going to just get this here. And remember, roll into a ball, a sausage, and then divide it into 3 to get equal amounts. Now, actually, this could be a little bit big. So I may not use all that because I just want to see. I suppose, yeah, use again, have a good eye, I'm sure, and you can decide what size your leaves should be. So it's basically 3 little balls that are going to turn into leaves. So I'm going to use it around that amount. So look, each of them are that size. So again, into a ball, into a droplet, and then flatten. Into a ball, into a droplet, and then flatten. So these are for the leaves of the basket. I'm not happy with that one, so I'm going to do it again. Into a ball, into a droplet, and then flatten. Okay, into a ball, into a droplet. So put pressure on one side, remember, over on one side, and then flatten. So they're little flattened droplets for the leaves. I'm hoping that they'll be okay size-wise. So in order, again, to give the leaves a little bit of realism, we're going to slice it in the center and then slice all over at the edges, okay? So I'll show you. I'm just going to put it like that. So I'm slicing it in the center. I'm going to hold up to the camera and see if I can do it. Whoops. And then I'm going to slice it down. Slice, 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 and then the other side. Slice, 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 and slice. Like that. So something like that, okay? And then I'm just going to put them overhanging over my basket. There's one like that. I'm going to hold it up to you. So something like that. Again, use the design. You can decide where you want to place your little leaves. It's up to you. But I'm putting mine there. I'm going to put 2 there, like I did my order design. 2 there and 1 there. So again, going back to that leaf, slicing it, just to give it the impression of a real leaf like that. And then we're going to go down, down, down. The side, down, 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 down. So again, something like that. like that. And then my third one, so I have my flattened droplet, going to get my skewer, going to go half, and then slice, slice, slice. And it's very small, this, so just be careful if any of you have your big hand. It is quite delicate, but you should be able to manage like that. And then over like that. So we'll hold that up to use. So everybody should be at a similar stage. Again, if you didn't want to do all those 3 leaves, you could do 1. It's up to use, okay? Now, I just going to build this up to see what way it will look. So I'm going to go put 1 there. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so I might just put, I don't know, we're just going to do little stems. So see, from the green, I'm going to put 1 in the center, a little sausage. So basically a tiny little bit of green, and you're going to roll over and back like this. You may not see it in your design. If you don't have to do it. But I'm just thinking I might, you might be able, if some of you, if with the way you position it, we put a little stem and then we'll stick a flower on top of it. So I'm going to put this guy, I think, in the center. No, I'm going to put this guy in the center. So look at mine. That's in the center there, okay? And I'm going to put this guy to the other side of him, like that. And then this guy to this side. So I might just push that up a bit. And then you're going to go underneath. So you can kind of play around with the format you want to go with. So I've got like that. I've got that one on top and I've got the 3 underneath. See that? So I just have to turn it around to me for 1 minute just to make sure that I'm happy with the layout. Okay. Now I want to ask you then, so look at, that's the way I've done mine. Again, you could have done yours differently. So we have some of the red still left over. I just want to give a little bit of an impression in the center of this one here. So look at the kind of the daffodil one. We're just going to add 3 tiny little dots of red into the center there. It'll just bring out the basket. So look at, I mean, everybody there, the smallest little bit of red you've ever imagined. See, tiny. And then divide that into 3. So you're going from small to tiny, literally. So into a ball. Look how tiny mine is. Can you see it? And then you're just going to position it in the center of the daffodil. You're going to do 3 of them, or 3 or 5 or 1, if whatever you think, but we just need it just to give it a little bit of a life. And then the other one there. Whoops. And if you find it too hard to put it up in your finger, get your skewer like that and put it in. Yeah, I just think we needed that just to liven it up a little bit. Okay, so we're doing very good. So I really don't have any more space there for green stems. If you do, please feel free to do it, but mine's too packed, so I don't need them, okay? Now, the final thing we're going to do is we're going to do the little hook and the bow, okay? So I'm going to do my hook. I'm going to do it green, okay? So again, simple. You can choose green or red, whatever you want. So into a ball, and then a sausage, okay? And then we're just going to hook it from one side, from the top, just from here. Oops, right. So I'm going to put it there, from one side to another. And it'll dry extra light. So all you'd need is a little thumbtack, you know, to attach it if you want to put it to the wall. If you don't want to put a hook, you don't have to put a hook, you can just leave it, okay? So that's, I'm going to have it like that. You see what I mean? So a little simple hook. Now, the next thing we're going to do is a little bow. So in order to do that, we're going to get, I still have a substantial amount of red left. So whatever bit of red you have left, we're going to divide it. So I'm going to roll into a ball and divide it into 3. So I ball sausage and then divide it into 3. So 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to take that away. Okay. 3. So if you can imagine two of the ones are for the outside, obviously, and then we're going to do a smaller one in the center. But I want you then, because you're well able now, you've learned all the skills, you're going to do little like strings coming out. I forgot to do that in my design. So we have 3 bits of red, whatever quantity or whatever amount, but it's 3 equal bits. So you're going to take one of them away, and you're going to divide it into 3. So this is the center of the bow and the 2 little strings coming down, okay? So into a ball, so this is center bit is just a simple ball, obviously, like that, okay? And then I just actually made it into kind of an oblong, an oval shape. So just a center, you can do a ball, it doesn't matter, whatever you feel comfortable with. And then our 2 little strings for the end are going to be obviously flattened sausages. So a ball, a sausage, and then you're just going to flatten it. Okay, like that, something like that. And then a ball, sausage, and flatten it like that. Okay. Now, and you want to give it the impression that it's kind of like finished and it's kind of pointy. See that, like that? Now, and you're going to point it out like that. So if you can, look, I just want to show you, let me see here. You know the way the ribbons are always pretty cut at the end, like it's slicing them like that. So I just nipped it out, like that, okay? Something like that. It doesn't have to be that exact. So I'm going to do the other one to show you. So nip one side and the other side, if you can. Again, don't worry if you can't. This is just giving a lot of detail here. Like that, I'll turn around that side. Okay? Something like that and that. Just leave it at that. You want them kind of equal as you can. So then we have the center, we have the 2 little strings coming down, and then we want to do the other part, which is the outside bit. So that's basically a ball, a sausage, and then you're going to flatten it. Flatten it, okay? That's one for the one side of the bow, like this, like that. It's more complicated than the one I actually did in my design, because I think you'll be well able for it. So like that, okay? And the same for the other one. So a ball, a sausage, and then flatten it. Like that amount. And then you can stretch it just to give it as equal as you can. I'm going to hold that up like that, like that. Okay. And then I'm just putting a little bit of an indent, nipping the end of the bow like that. So just nipped kind of the 2 to flatten them bits. Those bits, sorry. And then we're going to put a little center bit like that. It's looking good, isn't it? And then if you want, you can just get your little bow edge. These are little, just extra little bits there, like that, look at. I just indented there, and I'm going to indent the other side. Now. And then we'll put our little strings underneath. So there's the back of my bow. We're going to put the little strings underneath like that, and like that. It's kind of like a little Christmas bow like that. Okay. And then we're just going to flatten that, and we're going to stick it on to the top of our hook. Something like that. Okay. So that's us. That concludes that workshop. Just actually in 1 minute, if you want to do a little indent on the middle of the bow there, just to give it a little bit more realistic look as well. So everybody should have something along those lines. Now it was challenging enough because you were learning lots of new little skills there, and it was small. So well done if you kept up. So I'm just going to bring this up now. Okay, so I'll just hold that up there so we can see. So something like that. You want to, if Sean there wants to hold his up. Is everybody, oh, look at Anne, that looks brilliant, Anne. That looks brilliant. Really good, really, really good. So I hope you really enjoyed that. Thank you for participating and for keeping up with me. And just be mindful as well that Clayotic and air dry. So again, this time, well, in a day or so, it'll be hard. So all you need to do is get a little pin or something if you want to hang it on your wall, or a little thumbtack or something like that, because it's extra light, so it'll stay no bother. Okay, so thank you so much, everybody, for participating, and hope to see you again soon. Very good, Leonie, thank you. And thanks again to Laois Libraries for sponsoring this. It was great. It was really good. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thanks very much, Louise.
Yes, thank you. So hope you all enjoyed it. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Tommy. Okay. All the best now.